At this time, I'll call the June 15th, 2023 meeting to order for the Dickson County Commission. Would you please stand and join in the flag salute? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. On the agenda, we have two items that we will be adding. One is in regards to an emergency vehicle permit. The second item that we had discussed in our work study sessions last few weeks is in regards to a mid-year wage adjustment for Dickson County employees.
I move to approve the agenda.
Okay, we have the motion to approve the agenda. I'll second it. Any other discussion? All in favor of the amended agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. The consent agenda is next. That includes the minutes of the June 8th meeting, minutes of the June 12th special meeting, also expenditures of $626,868.70, the security wire of $3,816, a hand check of $200, a special check of $86.46, and then also utilities, $26,185.95.
I move to approve the consent agenda. Second.
We have the motion and the second for approval of the consent agenda. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Commission comments, Ron.
Did have the opportunity yesterday to sit in on drug court, and I was quite impressed. I think I welcome the public to come and see how it works and things like that. It's quite something. And also did attend the juvenile detention center yesterday for a while, do some business there, and things are working well. So that's what's going on.
Hey, Craig.
Yeah, I put a couple deals in your commissioners and Janelle, a couple letters on supporting the wind farms from Lauren Carroll Rock. Write a letter, and then Georgia Anina at ADEMA. Got letters in support of this farm. That's all I have, Lynn.
Okay. This past week, I attended a Military Affairs Council meeting. It was a meeting combined with Junction City and also Manhattan. It was at the Riley Conference Center. And it's the year of the NCO. And so we had information on that, but also it's just the community partnerships that are developed through that. And whenever I attend those, it's always brought up. It's privately conversations, but how they look forward to coming over to the Eisenhower Presidential Library and some of the things we have here in Dickinson County. And also we have many residents of Dickinson County that are affiliated or part of the Fort Riley. After that, they had the Cavalry Museum opening and dedication, and it's been closed for a while, so it's been updated. They also had a reception. I think they mentioned the people from the Eisenhower Presidential Library and Museum had given them some assistance, technical wise or informational wise, along with others. And so anyway, it was a very nice event. It was outdoors, and so it was perfect weather that morning. And they have tents set up, so you do have some shade, but is well attended. And I always see a few familiar faces from Dickson County, Geary County, and Riley County mainly. Earlier this morning, we reviewed our budgets and continued to hear from the various departments what their needs are, anticipated needs are. A lot of it is projections. These are times when you're considering that this time of year, but it's for the calendar year of 2024. It's challenging, and I think our departments and elected officials do a great job. They're very much aware that we're don't have excessive funds, and we're trying to hold the line as far as taxes are concerned, because that's the main source of income for our budget. There's services that are needed all throughout the county. That's all I would have. Anything else that came to mind? And appreciate Craig keeps track of the online things as far as letters that we receive. So at this time, we'll go ahead and move on. We do not have any petitions or proclamations. This would be opportunity if anyone had a question on any item that is not on the budget, you can bring forth that question or comment at this time. We do not have any comments, public comments, and so we'll go ahead and move on to our reports of county officers. And Janelle Dockendorf is our county administrator. We'll hear from you first.
Commissioners, as Ron mentioned, we had the drug court graduation yesterday, and that was an event that was very well attended and very much appreciated. There was a lot of hard work that goes into it with the team, and I was fortunate enough to sit on some of the very early planning, and it's amazing to see how that's come together. So we appreciate the hard work that's gone into that. So also the 510 800 Avenue Bridge, the final review inspection with KDOT will be today, and it has been open, but they have to do their final walkthrough. We're not anticipating any problems with that. The epoxy projects that were started this last week in the county have been completed. There were 3 bridges that we put the epoxy coating on, and that was the 1500 block of Rain, the 2800 block of Fair, and then Old 40 in Eden. And the company did an excellent job, and we were projecting they would be closed 2 to 3 days, and a lot of them weren't even that. So that was good. And the highway department has started their chip seal. They started on Eden Road at 1400 Avenue, and they'll be heading south on that. I also wanted to let anybody know that we will have an open position on our planning and zoning board. So reach out to Tim Hamilton, our planning and zoning director. If you have questions, there'll be a short application, and then we'll have an interview process with the commission like we did before to fill the position. So
Any area they have to be from specifically or not?
This area that the person that's leaving is just north of town. So it would be fine if it's really anywhere in the county, but
I didn't know if they tried to,
we filled in from the southern part, and that always seemed to be the difficult area that we had. So we would welcome any application for this. So
There still would be room for someone from the southern part of the county.
there absolutely
We've
would.
got, would still maintain some of the balance we
Mhm.
need.
And that's all I would have.
Okay, Doug.
Thank you. We have the tax sale coming up on June the 27th, and we're ready to go with that. I visited with Leah Hearn, and we're going to use the area down this corridor out here, because the last one we had was pretty much filled up over here, and the security team said, it's hard for us to be able to keep up with it if we just use this one, so we're going to go this direction with it. And we've got a number of parcels of real estate, and we're ready to go. I did check on went back to the title company in regards to that Janelle, that piece of property that you asked me about, and I asked them to double check that on the ownership.
Okay.
We'll have that one. Other than that, we're ready to go. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Doug. Under notices and communications, we did receive some letters and comments, and Craig had kind of alluded to that, but we have a letter in support for the wind farm, and just wanted us to know as a commission that even though we've heard from opposition to it, that there are those that are in favor of it. I believe one of those letters mentioned, this is their information, so I'm not aware if the number's different, but they said there are at least 120 landowners, including themselves, that have signed leases, and that they they've given consideration and were thoughtful about it. And so they wanted us to know that they were in favor of that project. And when I say in favor of the project, it still is something that has not officially come to the county. But all indications are in months ahead, or at least within a year, that project probably would be officially come before planning and zoning for consideration for a conditional use permit. Were there any other communications or notices that someone would want to bring up?
I have nothing.
I know Janelle mentioned this, but all of us were in attendance of that drug court graduation, and it was a very meaningful event that took place. There's many people in the community in the 8th Judicial District, the Community Foundation, law enforcement. It's really a team effort that they've had. People have had oversight and been involved with this. It was a very exciting day to see someone reach and accomplish their goal, and the support they had from their peers that are in the middle or beginning stages of that process. There were many people there. One thing that stood out in my mind, and I should have mentioned it to Judge Sexton when he was here earlier, but at the very end, he authorized and directed the person to go ahead and hit the submit button. And with, striking that button on the computer, that was the event that officially that person was off of probation, and it was something they had worked for. And then having said that, I mean, they've shown themselves and proven themselves by having a job and working through the system. So when you can consider what it costs for incarceration and things like that, when you have, a pathway where people can get some help and counseling and willingly participate and very enthusiastically participate, it's a very meaningful event. I'll move on. We do not have any resolutions to consider. We do not have any unfinished business. We have 2 items that we've added to the agenda.
We never mentioned the sales tax.
Go ahead and bring that up,
No,
Craig.
Marcus, you want to talk about the sales tax report?
So sales tax, our most recent in May, we received a sales tax that came in actually around 3% down compared to May of last year. Overall, across the board, though, we're sitting pretty much right about flat compared to last year with our expectations, which is still coming in well above our anticipated budget number that was budgeted. So it looks like we're in a good position still annually for sales tax collections. In May, for our overall sales tax, we brought in $150,497.16. That's for the half-cent sales tax for the general fund. And for the quarter-cent sales tax for the special street, we brought in $141,478.51.
And that is for the month of March, because it always lags behind once it's reported, sent to the state, sent back to us.
It's always about a 2-month
And
lag on that. So we receive it in May, but it's actually for sales from March. But right now, we're still above last year's collection just slightly, but we're really just mainly about flat to what we were doing in 2022, which is still really strong sales tax numbers.
On the monthly, I would like on there what we budgeted out of the road and bridge, the 1.1.
Oh,
Oh, add that on there.
yeah.
Yeah.
So we know
Mhm.
we can see how much we are over.
no problem. And that, I think it's already on that spreadsheet. I wonder if it's just the way I printed that, if I got.
I think it was last time I thought, but
Yeah, I'll make sure that I've got that on there.
It's either 1 or 1.1.
I think it's 1.1.
And the other part of that, typically, we have set the budget amount based on last year's sales tax, but we have projected for budget purposes an amount that doesn't even equal that. Just in anticipation, what if it would take a little bit of a dip? It's always seemed to continually to go up, but if it would plateau or take a dip, we're budget-wise, we're still
Right.
in good standing.
Mhm.
Mhm.
We are spending money we don't have.
Right. Because we can't do that.
That's right.
And in the budget, the sales tax money for the road and bridges in a separate fund.
It's a separate fund.
Yeah, I thought I remembered. Thank you, Marcus.
Okay, we're going to go ahead and move on. The next item we have was an addition to the agenda. This is in regards to an emergency vehicle permit. And Janelle, if you'd give us the information on who made the request and the reason for the request.
So Fire Chief Vashelt for the Enterprise Fire Department has requested an application for authorized emergency vehicle, so he can put lights and sirens on his personal vehicle to respond to fires. Oftentimes he does that. And under the statute 8-2010, the county commission can authorize that. He has spoken with our emergency manager and our sheriff. He's also received permission from the mayor of the community and then the fire department, which is himself. So in the past 15 years or so, we've got 4 applicants that have received permission to do this. This is no cost to the county. It doesn't affect our insurance. It's all on theirs. But the purpose is for the fire chief to be able to respond to emergencies in a timely manner from his job is what he's asking for essentially. So
And we know
on that, and he's very responsible.
who has the permits. And so that way there's not the unauthorized people
Right,
if that would ever happen to occur.
right.
And he is on call 24/7.
Mhm.
So if he's at home, it's not practical to go get an emergency vehicle and switch cars. And
My only question is when the Lawrence Fire Chief, did he take the step off? We got that in the agreement?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I move we authorize the,
emergency vehicle permit.
for me. Thank you.
I'll second it.
We have the motion and the second, not to put words in your mouth, but I was looking right at the word
I
verbiage here. So
lashed it off.
we have the motion and the second for the emergency vehicle permit for the Enterprise Fire Chief. Any other discussion or question? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. The next item we added to the agenda, and we had done this last year, but it was consideration for a mid-year raise. And so Janelle, if you would go ahead and kind of, unless you want to delegate it to Marcus or
I'm going to
Marcia.
delegate it to Marcus and Marcia.
And so if you'd kind of explain the purpose and why we're considering that and what impact that would have on the budget. So
So we've discussed this and I know some of the concerns, just wanting to find out how it's going to affect the 2023 budget if we were to be able to implement the year increase. So Marcia collected a lot of those numbers and we put it together into a summary, just to kind of help give ourselves an overall idea of how that would affect the 2023 budget. Currently through 12 pay periods, which is just slightly short of half the year here. The overall county is coming in under our personnel budget of about $288,793. Depending on what type of percentage increase you'd be looking at for the mid-year adjustment, we did the numbers for a 3% mid-year adjustment, which would come in around $112,000, or a 2% mid-year adjustment, which comes in about $74,000. So either way, with the way we're coming in under budget at this time, it looks that I would anticipate that we would be able to absorb that mid-year increase within the 2023 budget without any effect on what we had initially planned for carryover and things of that nature. Because we would, the way we come in under budget is because there's different positions across all departments that will have some openings throughout the year. And as you're waiting to fill those, or as we're considering how those positions may change, those gaps provide us a little bit of flexibility in what we budget each year.
And this would be for effective in July, so it gives ample time to review the payroll status and make the entries to
Yes.
smoothly do that.
How much problem is that for you, Marcia?
That's not a problem. So if we implemented it, so it'd go effect on the July payroll, that would be fine, July 7th, and then the next one is July 2 weeks later. So either one would work for us.
Which one would you recommend?
I would do the second one, just so we have
More time to do it?
more time to make sure everything's right. But I will do whatever you request.
But you have to do it for us, so I'm just asking. I'll make the motion that we implement at 3% in the second pay period of July, which would be the 21st. And implement it.
I'll second that.
Okay. And we have the motion in the second. You, on the 21st, why do you recommend that over
That's what she
the
recommended.
7th? Is that
We'll
what,
make it more,
is that what you were,
less,
is that what you're
make sure
referring
you get it
to?
right.
Was that what you were
If you'd
referring?
like to do the 7th, we can make that happen too. So
Well, I mean, I guess when you said you recommended the second, I wasn't sure if you meant the second pay period or.
the second paycheck, so that the pay period starts. Angela, do you have?
It would be, it would start the 9th and go through the, yeah.
So it would take effect on the 9th of July, but they wouldn't get paid for it until the 21st.
Correct.
Okay. And that's consistent with what your motion
Yeah.
was. Okay. Any other discussion or question? And I think the purpose of this is also we would be considering a 5 to 7% increase for 2024, but this 3% would be taken out and carved out of that. So it would be the 3% plus.
That's not what I'm interpreting it.
That's your call.
Yeah, that's your call.
So
Our call.
that would be voted on as part of the
As part of
budget.
the budget, right.
So come January, it could be an additional 5% to 7% range.
How we structure
Or
that.
it could be less.
We're not talking about this year, we're talking about 24. budget.
2024.
Yeah.
Correct, yes, yes.
So we're not talking, that there's going to be an increase next year. But that's already in, but it's going to be the year after that. Correct?
You're talking about doing the mid-year
Yep.
raise right now, and then come January, whatever we budget for,
5 to 7.
5 to 7%, correct. But there's no guarantee that next year you would do the mid-raise,
Right.
mid-year range again.
And we still aren't locked in on that 5 to 7%.
No, that has not been
And that's part of our discussion for.
Right, because we're still getting numbers.
Thank you,
Any other questions or comments? So we have the motion and the second, that it would be a 3% raise that would go into effect, and it would be reflected on the pay of the 21st
The second,
July,
Of the-
second paycheck. Any other discussion or questions? I'll call the motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. We do not have any other business to bring before the commission. If so, you'd need to bring it up now or make your comment. The next item of business we have is an executive session. This is for attorney-client, non-elected personnel. We'll have our county attorney Doug here, but also we will have an attorney that is going to call in online. And this also would include Janelle and Marcia and our sheriff,
Sheriff.
and also Jeff would be here on that. And anyone else that needs to be here on that. Okay. So we would have that executive session. We will go ahead and start it at 11:25, and it will be for 30 minutes. And that's my motion. All in favor, say, I need a second. Yep. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. We're going to go into executive session. At this time, I would move that we return to regular session from executive session.
Second it.
We have the motion and the second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. We went into executive session at 11:25 for 30 minutes. And so at 11:55, we came out of executive session. We had some updated information we received based on attorney-client privilege. At this time, there is no action to be taken. And so any other question or comment or a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Second it.
We have the motion for adjournment and the second. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We're adjourned.